How much did you pay for each kitten?
Chica was $1,800, and his brother Mark of the same litter was $1,000.
Wow, okay. For cat? I'm sorry. I'm a cat person, but like I just didn't realize that there were those kind of numbers involved. What kind of cats are these?
This is the plaintiff, Ty Jakovsky. He says he purchased a beautiful black and white Scottish fold kitten from the defendant, and the cat was sick almost immediately after he brought it home. Turns out the defendant sold him a very sickly cat, infected with an aggressive immune virus, and the kitten died 1 week later. The defendants caused him irreparable emotional and financial harm, and he's suing her today for the state max of $5,000 to compensate him for all she put him through. This is the defendant, Valeria Kravchenko. She says she sold the plaintiff 2 very healthy kittens. He brought them to his vet, they got a clean bill of health, and now she's being sued? 4 months after he had the kittens, one of them unfortunately caught a virus and died. But how's that her responsibility? No one knows how his kittens got this virus, and she's simply not responsible. She's accused of selling a compromised cat. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,500 for stress and aggravation.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
welcome,
Okay. You bought a kitten from the defendant, correct?
I bought 2 kittens from the defendant.
2 kittens from the defendant. And you had kittens, why?
Because I breed them for my pleasure.
When you say for your pleasure, what does that mean?
I like, to breed them, and I like to make people happy with my kittens.
Okay, but you sell them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm, yes.
Okay. And how many do you sell a year?
About 25 kittens.
25?
I would say.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now, how much did you pay for each kitten?
Chica was $1,800, and his brother Mark of the same litter was $1,000.
Wow, okay. For cat? I'm sorry. I'm a cat person, but like I just didn't realize that there were those kind of numbers involved. What kind of cats are these?
So this is very special breed. You cannot find it in America. I needed to go to different country to, actually buy them for breeding, and I spent like thousands of dollars for that.
What country did you have to?
Russia.
Oh, okay. Are you from Russia?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So that's how I know about this breed, and it's called Scottish Fold.
Scottish Fold.
Yes.
Okay. And what's so beautiful about them?
So they are like dogs, they have very calm personalities. They love people. They're just like, they're so plush. They are like teddy bears,
Okay, this is the kitty when the kitty was alive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the kitty was like purring or whatever, and you took a picture.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he was an excellent animal for a day, basically.
Okay, well, when you say he was an excellent animal for a day, what do you mean?
When I brought him home, that day was amazing.
And then the next day, what happened?
The following day in the morning, took him to the vet, and he was checked out to have a clean bill of health. Yes.
Okay.
Later that day, he showed his initial signs of...
What was the date of purchase? I'm sorry.
The date of purchase was 10/20 was when I brought them home.
October 20th, is that
Yes.
accurate? Okay.
Yes.
So go on.
From there, he and his brother both had loose stools that evening, and over the next few days, it progressively got worse. They slowly just stopped eating more and more. So I took them to the vet. At that point, they were prescribed an antibiotic called metronidazole,
Okay.
which is supposed to help their immune systems to bring them back and settle with this diarrhea. His brother, Mark, then recovered and to this day is healthy and fine. So that's kind of the end of his saga here. Chica, however, continued to deteriorate. It got to the point where he couldn't ingest the medicine orally anymore. So over the next few days, it kind of deteriorated further. to the point where I had to hospitalize him, and he needed to stay overnight and be given fluids intravenously.
How long was the kitty hospitalized?
He was there overnight. He was there for
And then you brought the kitty home?
13 hours. Yeah, he was there. They said he's eating again. He's got the meds. They kind of topped him up, and he was feeling better.
Okay.
So he was able to come home, and then he lived for like 5-6 weeks. Excellent bill of health. He was beautiful. He was lovely. Had a really great time.
And then what
with him.
happened?
And then he basically inflated and died
Like all at once, or?
in like a week, in a few days.
All right, did you take him back to the vet at that point?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And how long was he at the vet's that time?
He didn't stay at any point in time. It was kind of an immediate diagnosis of a fatal disease, and they said,
So did they put him to sleep?
no, not immediately. It was, we will try and treat this for whatever it could be that isn't. It's this disease is called FIP. It's feline infectious peritonitis. It is a disease where it's like so many people have like HIV basically, or the common cold, but in some of us it mutates and it turns into another disease, which is FIP. It happened to Shika. He got the coronavirus from her breeder, from her cattery.
Says who?
It says doctors. I can show you.
Okay,
Yeah.
show me the
Yeah.
doctor's report. Did the doctor write a report saying that the animal was unfit for purchase at the time of the purchase?
If you needed that, I would be able to get that.
Well, no,
I
we're in
feel,
trial
but
now.
there
It's
is,
too late.
there's not a
Yeah.
physical document right
All
now
right,
that says.
now you have a contract that you have people sign, correct? Do
Yes,
you have a copy of that contract with you here today?
Yes, I do.
I do as well.
Okay, let me see both copies of the contract. And you wanted to bring my attention to a specific clause in here, correct?
Yes.
Which is that a breeder provides a warranty for genetic problems for 180 days.
Yeah, but this is not genetic
Breeder
problem.
is not responsible for FIP. Did you read this?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you know that in here it says breeder's not responsible for FIP. Did you know what FIP was at the time?
Did not at all. It's just 3 letters, you know.
Yeah, I know.
and
Did you
it's-
ask what it was?
It's extraordinarily rare. No, I mean, I didn't know.
As most people, maybe you didn't read it that carefully.
I also brought the lemon law, which is saying, like, as you said, that, he needs to show me before he asks me for money. He needs to show me this paper unfit for purchase.
Yeah, this lemon law she's talking about. Let me see what you have. I want to see if it's the actual New York law.
It's actually saying that the plaintiff cannot ask me for more.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it says.
Yeah.
All right, so here's how it goes. If within 14 days following the sale of an animal, subject to this article, which this animal is, a vet of the customer's choosing, licensed by the state, certifies an animal to be unfit for purchase due to illness or the presence of symptoms of a contagious or infectious disease, and that would be at the time of sale, then what she's got to do is afford you the right to choose one of several options. The right to return the animal and receive a refund, the right to return the animal and receive an exchange animal, or the right to keep the animal because people bond with their animals and receive reimbursement from them for anything that you spent trying to cure the animal up to the cost of the animal. So it's a very specific statutory scheme that's involved.
Yeah, and I think this is where it gets interesting. Would you like me first to submit the evidence here regarding the where the infection comes from, and then what is actually the risk to his brother, to his littermate who has that cat that we were speaking
Where did you
of
get
earlier?
that?
This is from the hospital. They said, here is the disease that he
Okay,
has.
yes.
So, like, this is the information.
I'd like everything the hospital gave you.
Yes, absolutely.
So go on.
So what was interesting is that on an initial hospitalization, when I spoke to her, and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, he was actually on antibiotics a few days before."
So tell me about that. Why was the animal on antibiotics a few days before?
So basically, little kittens, they can have diarrhea, right? And to stop this diarrhea, there is a medicine called metronidazole that you can give them, and it stops right away.
So you made the decision to administer the medicine,
Yes.
and you gave it to the animal for 2 days.
Yes, and it stopped. And then I warned the plaintiff that if something happens, please let me know, because
Did you
I
ever
have-
tell him before you sold him the animal that the animal had just been on antibiotics?
no.
How many days earlier had the animal been on antibiotics?
3 days, I would say.
So 2 days of antibiotics, 3 days, and then he picks
were
up the
good.
animal.
Yeah, they
How
were-
old was the animal when he picked him up?
2.5 months old,
2.5 months.
10 weeks.
Yeah.
The timeline is inaccurate. It was 2 days, then I picked him up on the third day. So that, like, the third day when she mentioned.
How do you know that?
Because we were in contact. She said, "Oh, I'm giving him some medicine. Pick him up on this next day."
So there was no gap.
There was no gap. So she basically hopped him up on these
So
antibiotics.
she did tell you about the medicine
No,
before
excuse
you
me.
picked up the cat.
But not that it was antibiotics.
What did you ask her? What's the medicine?
No, because it was more like, we're treating the diarrhea. She didn't really
So
say.
you knew that the animal had diarrhea.
And I said, fine, if you
You
want me
knew
to.
that the animal was being treated, and you knew there was being a medicine administered.
I didn't know if there was a medicine.
Okay,
being
and what did you want to interrupt with?
He asked me for the name of the medicine, and I told him.
When?
And, I told him about medicine
When?
on
I want
October 22nd.
Okay, so October 22nd
Yes.
is 2 days
And-
after he has the animal.
And I
So
offered
do you,
him-
if she tells you by text 48 hours later, do you ever tell the doctor what it is?
That's why when we went back to the vet,
All right,
we got
and then
him.
the doctor knows it, does whatever he's going to do,
They
continues
said,
that same
"We need to
medication.
get back on that drug
and
and let's
everything
finish
looks
that."
fine. It worked for the other cat. It didn't work for this one.
Yes, because he was kind of far gone.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does the animal die? How many months later was it?
5 weeks.
Okay, and
Yeah.
how did Shika
Shika, yes.
Shika pass away?
Shika came down with the feline infectious peritonitis, which basically weakened his immune system. A pre-existing kind of, not necessarily condition, but almost like something that can push a cat to allow this virus that it has to mutate is a weakened immune system, which I believe she enabled by putting him on 2 days of antibiotics and then saying, here, he's a healthy cat. I figured he just had diarrhea. Okay, fine. I don't know, maybe just give him a Tums or something. I don't know. I'm not like a breeder. I'm buying a $2,000 cat from this woman. I'm expecting a living
Right, she
animal.
did. I've read the
you know?
text. What I'd like to know is before you bring the cat back in December. So there's 5 weeks where there's no problem, no diarrhea, nothing, no medicine.
He's great, yeah.
And when you bring the cat back, did the other cat show any symptoms of sickness?
The other cat has not. No, he's
Not even in December when this cat was in full-blown FIP.
No, but he
Okay.
has the coronavirus and may at any day succumb to this disease, which is also why I'm here, because we'll need some cash if if that's gonna happen to him as well.
Okay, well, that would be completely speculative on your part, right?
I mean, yeah, perhaps.
Right.
But
Okay.
It's,
So now, how do we know when the cat got the coronavirus?
It's because the disease is kind of elusive.
Well, this is interesting. FIP stems from infection with the enteric coronavirus of cats, but FIP is not contagious. So you don't give it to another cat. So why is all this other stuff?
The virus, the FIP is the condition when the virus mutates and then kills you as a disease. The coronavirus is what is contagious, is spread to other animals. And if you actually read on, FIP actually still transfers the virus. It doesn't actually transfer a positive FIP. FIP is
You don't have a doctor. Do you have a doctor saying this cat had FIP in the first 14 days?
not in the first 14 days, however.
Right. So how is it then that you would be entitled to? I realize this. Look, I get it. You paid a lot of money. You had a cat. The cat died in 5 or 6 weeks. I get it.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to prove in a court of law that you can tell me 100 times, well, the cat had it in it, but it mutated on this one, it mutated on that, but this is all speculation on your part. You have to be able to tell me that there was a detected virus and that's 14 days, and that the animal was thus unfit for purchase, and that's exactly what your vet has to say for you to be able to get money back. Now, she was saying to you that she would give you some money back, or that she would give you all the money back, that she needed to be on a payment plan and some other stuff.
Yes.
Why was that happening? You were freaking out when the animals were first brought in, saying, oh, I was praying all night, I'm so glad to hear they're better and all that. And then when the animal dies, he writes to you and he says, you got to help me with this. And you offer to help him with the bills. Tell me
Yes.
about that.
Yes, I did, because, first of all, he was pushing me, and I was pregnant, and, I was like emotional stressed. And so after he pushed me, I'm like, okay, can I give you refund of the kitten by payments, because I just don't have, that money right now. And he said no. He kept pushing me.
Oh,
like,
you should have taken that. But anyway, go ahead. And then you said 500 a month, and then he also said no.
Yes.
And then what happened? Then you got sued.
And then, I just,
Now
he
you have a
pissed me off.
counterclaim against him for 2,500 for what?
I lost my child last week,
I'm sorry to
and
hear that.
and all this process was like very tough for me, I've never been sued before, and I love my kids, and I was like texting him, calling him every day, and actually I have some papers that
Okay,
showing.
but hold on one second.
That's-
You're not suggesting you lost your baby because you had this dispute with him.
But I had so much stress, and
Over this?
Yes.
Do you have
because
children?
I love my.
Do you
no,
have children?
it was my
This is
first,
your first
pregnancy. Yeah.
Okay, I'm here to tell you, as someone who had miscarriages, it is very common, as I'm sure the doctor told you, that first pregnancies result in this. Okay? It is not because of him or the problem with the cat. And if it is, then that is an issue for you to undertake therapy for. Because, if you're pregnant and you have to take care of the baby, and you're having such stress that would cause you to lose a baby, then you shouldn't be having such stress. You know what I'm saying? I'm very sorry that happened. I'm sure, as the doctor said, you're young and, et cetera, that doesn't change the loss that you feel. I know the dates of both my miscarriage, and I think about it every year. And I have children who are 23, 22, and 18. So it's painful, but you will get past this, and it truly has nothing to do with our case. As far as your counterclaim against him, zero.
But I have more papers.
Stop.
Okay.
And on your claim, unless it has to do with his claim against you.
About FIP, I wanted to.
I don't need to know any more about
Okay,
FIP.
okay.
I researched FIP before.
Okay.
I didn't know anything until this
Sucks.
case.
Isn't it awful?
I really didn't, and it is really awful. And I before I became a dog person, I was a cat person, and I had never heard of that. And it's just awful. It's awful. But sometimes not every awful thing that happens to us, someone else has to pay for. The law is very specific about what you have to have in order to have her pay you. And you don't have it. I see where the doctor's saying, wow, it's really irresponsible not to tell you. That I saw in the emails back and forth.
Yeah.
It's really responsible to just have 2 days of antibiotics and not tell you. But except for she did tell you. And
Well, she told me after the fact. It was
after the sale, but within 48 hours and before your doctor treated. And frankly, your doctor continued the course she had started.
But it
so no,
allowed
we're
the
done. We're done, my
animal
dear.
to-
We're done. You don't have what you need. Let's start off with you don't have the basic thing you need, which is a certificate from a veterinarian that's licensed in the state that says the animal was unfit for purchase. But even if the doctor had said that, I'm going into all of this background stuff because I want you to know it's not that you forgot to get something special. It's that vet was never going to say that. Because I see from what the vet knows that there's no way the vet could have said that, you see? So on your lawsuit against her, I'm ruling in favor of the defendant.
So in these competing lawsuits, both sides failed to prove their case. What's your reaction to the judge's verdict?
If it's all about the paperwork, then that's what it's going to be.
You were suing for irreparable emotional distress.
Yeah,
That's
it was-
one of the things.
yeah.
Has it been that bad, that hard on you?
It was pretty terrible. This animal formed a really strong bond in our family, and it was really sad to see him be lost. It was unfortunate.
But the other cat's doing okay.
Mark's all right. Yeah.
If something should happen to him, will you go back to sue her again for that virus?
I think now knowing that there's a paper trail that I might need to follow, that I will follow up with
You'll
that
try and do
and
that.
see
Okay.
if there's opportunities for actually getting some of the stuff that the judge needs.
Thank you very much. All right, you must sign a few documents on your way out of the courtroom. Sorry you could not prevail. And same thing in your case. Sorry you couldn't prevail. You okay with that? You understand?
Yes, I understand.
This is emotionally tough for you too as well, right?
Yeah. I love my cats, I do everything for them. So it was just not fair the way he was talking to me. I've been nice to him since the first day.
Very obvious. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Harvey?
So, Doug, to win a case like this, you really need an expert. You need a vet to say what the problem is with the cat and whether that problem existed at the time of sale. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Carrie Ann. She says she mistakenly moved into a room the defendant was renting, and the woman turned out to be an out-of-control nutcase. That's right. She took her food out of the refrigerator, spoiling it. She had to call the cops because the woman would bang on her door, and she was forced to move out because the living conditions were unbearable. She's suing for $1,200, the cost of her spoiled food, and unreturned security. This is the defendant, Tracy. She says she treated the plaintiff like a sister. She would cook for her, let her use her laundry detergent, and now the woman's suing her? Please. The woman was a nosy Badinsky who got involved in her relationship with her fiancé by telling him she was cheating on him. Good riddance to this evil woman who she owes nothing to. She's accused of not getting along. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $599 for unpaid rent.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says she moved in with the defendant and it turned out to be a gigantic, big mistake. She says the defendant was crazy, even taking her food out of the fridge and letting it spoil. The defendant says she treated her like a sister and then she turned on her. It's the case of spoiled rotten.
Okay, Carrie Ann, you needed a place to live, and you ran into a friend who was a friend of hers and ended up moving in with her in July of last year, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and at first everything was working out just peachy.
Yes, everything was working out fine. We cook together, we go grocery shopping together, everything. Until the mutual friend of hers, she's telling me all sorts of things that Tracy Ann would be saying about me. But she didn't say it was her. So...
What would she say?
She keeps telling me, I got to talk to you because this is happening and that is happening.
What's happening?
That is what she was
Someone's
saying.
saying bad things
Yes.
about you, but I'm not going to tell you who, and I'm not going to tell you what they're saying. Okay, that's a person that you need to flush down a toilet.
That is what happened.
Right, so, but like right away.
She called me and she called another friend, a guy named Andrew, on 3-way, saying to Andrew that I'm living in denial because she's telling me what Tracy has been saying about me, and I'm, not telling her I don't want to hear because I'm saying that she's entertaining it if she knows so much thing every time she keeps telling me she's saying
Okay,
this,
how old
she's
are you?
saying that. I am 40.
How old are you?
39.
Okay, we're so past this at your age.
Exactly.
All right, so
Yeah.
like the first time that this person brings that up to you, that's the day you never talk to that person again. And then you talk to her and say, do we have a problem? I'd like to work it out because our living situation is good and this person is trying to get between us saying X, Y, Z. That's how a grown-up handles it. In fact, that's how my kids would handle it.
Yes.
But I would like to understand what happens with you guys instead of what I just said.
Yes, I didn't go to her and say anything because most of the things that she was telling me, there were things that was happening in the house. So I know that she must have been talking to her. So I said, I'm not going to be like friendly with her anymore. Hi, good morning, good evening would be enough for me. So because we usually cook together and all of that, her boyfriend says to me one day, if I'm going to eat from what he was preparing, I said, no, from now on, I won't be eating anything that you guys prepare. So I decided that I was going to get myself a little fridge for my room because she had told her that I've been drinking the juice and all kind of foolishness that I've been doing. So
when does she take your stuff out of the fridge? Because that's part of your life.
After I got the little mini fridge for my room, she get up the next morning, said, oh, she's going to clean out her fridge and whatever. When I was getting ready to go out, when I reached in the kitchen, everything for me was there on the counter.
So she does that once you get your own fridge?
Yes.
Okay, so then what? So why didn't you just put the stuff in your fridge?
I was leaving, so I just leave.
So you prefer? Okay, you were leaving where?
I was going out with my friend.
Okay, so you can't wait 3 seconds and put that stuff in your fridge because you're suing here for $400. Let's see what's, according to you, worth $400. This. Okay? Raisins, a ½ inch of ranch, some stuff that the taco shells I don't think need refrigeration, And you're going, those are potatoes, I think?
Yes, that look like potatoes.
Are they potatoes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
Your Honor.
tell me how this little bit of groceries would be $400,
Your
and tell
Honor.
me how this little bit of groceries would end up getting spoiled if you hadn't taken the 5 minutes to put it in your fridge rather than going out with your
fridge that
buddies.
was in the room after that, because I put a lock on the door because no, we're not speaking, and she usually go to my room and do whatever. I put a lock on the door for her not to go in. That is my private space. The fridge that I put in there, she went twice and plugged it out with whatever I have in there. I called the cops. So when I called the cops, they said that I have to go to the small
Did you
thing.
unplug her fridge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why?
That's when after my landlord keep texting me saying, why is it the light bill so high? I spoke to her a million times. Can you please unplug the fridge because I don't pay light separate. Everything's included. So once the light bill step up, the landlord is going to contact me. She said, I ain't giving you no key. So I said, okay, I waited 2 weeks. And after the 2 weeks, I took the lock off. Then she called the police to lock me up.
And what did the police say?
Said you have to give her a key because you're living under a roof. This is her place. So you
Okay.
have to give her a copy of the key. That's when I got it.
All right, but when you took her lock off, is that when you ended up unplugging her refrigerator? And if you took all her stuff out, where is she supposed to refrigerate her food?
Your Honor, she decided that she's not going to put those things in. I had to put back those stuff in my fridge because she decided that she's not taking them up. So I had to put back those stuff that I took out there back in my fridge. And
Why did you take it out to begin with? Where did you
Because-
expect her to put it?
Because she had now put a fridge in the room. And she decided that she's not unplugging it. And she now avoiding me in the house. She don't talk to me. We were living like sisters. This is how I treated her. Like one family. She cook, we heat. We cook, she heat. That's how we used to live. I buy laundry detergent, everything. She uses it, no problem. There was no problem at all. I took her out to have dinner. I paid for the meal. That's how I treated her. And then all of a sudden...
When did the problems begin?
When the other person that she's talking about, Karen,
In
went to
December.
What
her...
month?
I think
December.
in November.
I'm not talking to you.
It's in November.
What month?
In November,
Okay.
the person called my
So
phone.
until that moment, there have been no problems.
No problems.
She would pay rent. Everything was fine.
Everything was fine until that person stepped in and started bringing my name to her, telling, I don't know what, God, what, I don't know. But that same person who went to her is so messy that same person came back to me and told me all the stuff that she did. She invaded my privacy, meaning when
How?
I'm on my phone and talking in my house, she would call that same person, open the line, and have the person hear everything that goes on in my house. So all my private business, that person can tell me every situation me and my
So
fiance.
you know she's telling the truth because it's stuff that you were saying on a phone. And how else would she know if she
Exactly.
wasn't?
Everything, even stuff that was in Jamaica, I'm talking on the phone, that person could tell me everything. Situation between me and my fiance, everything, that person could tell me back everything. I said, how would you know? She said, Tracy, I don't
Can
live
I
in
ask
your
you a
house.
question?
I
Are
don't
you
live in your
still
house."
friends with that person?
No, I
Are you
cut
still
them off.
friends with that person? Yeah, because that person's cancer. Let me ask you a question. You have a counterclaim against her. I just asked you if everything had been fine until November, and you said yes, but you have a counterclaim against her where you're claiming that she didn't pay part of October rent.
She only sent $400 to my account.
Well, then why did you say that she was paid up? And when I asked you, she was paid up in rent, everything was fine. You said yes, everything was fine. Why did you just say that? I asked you that specifically a
Your
certain
Honor,
way.
that month in November, I know she was going through difficulty. So I wasn't taking it on a big issue. Because she said she wasn't going to...
You're taking it as a big issue now, and you want me to make a big issue of it.
Your Honor,
You want
because-
me to make her pay you $425. Did she pay you rent in November?
$400.
Did you pay you in November?
$400. She sent it to
What's
my
her
account.
rent?
$825.
So in November, she also only paid you $400?
$400.
And then in December, did she also
She
only...
paid the full money in December.
So why aren't you suing for November? Why are you only suing for October?
Well, I think it's... I'm not sure of the... Hold on, let me see.
Did you pay her full rent each month?
Every month, Your Honor.
Why is she saying
in
this?
October,
Yeah.
because in October she came in the room early in the morning saying that she's gonna give the boyfriend the money so he could send it to the landlord. I had $450 on the dresser, so I said, take the $450 and I will send the $400 from my account
To who?
to her, to Tracy.
And did you?
I did.
May I see the proof of that?
I have every proof.
How long was that food on the counter?
It was like because as soon as I took it out, she passed it to go to the door. So I realized she went out. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put it back in the fridge. Because she just passed it like she didn't even see it.
How long, when you pulled the refrigerator plug out, because, you know, you're the one who created that situation where she thinks she can't put stuff in the fridge because look at what you did. you put everything out on a counter. So then she gets a fridge, and then you tell her, no, you can't have that either. I mean, in the meantime.
She had the fridge before I put those out. She had the fridge before. So at the time when I put them out, I couldn't access the room because she changed the lock.
But I don't understand how you think that you can take it upon yourself to unplug her fridge when she has stuff in it. Do you know what stuff she had in her
She
fridge?
only have I think she only had maybe
Did you take a picture of it, or did you take a picture of it? Someone took a...
I did take a video of the fridge, but it is dark.
No, actually, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So is it $400 that you're suing for stuff that's spoiled in this fridge? Because the stuff on the counter, she says she put right back.
The stuff on the counter, Your Honor, when I came back that night, after midnight, she was just in the kitchen, putting the stuff in bags, putting them back in the refrigerator.
What is worth $400? Because nothing that I saw there would spoil in those hours.
It was
you could have put it back away or put it in your fridge.
Two times she plugged the fridge out.
Okay, so we are talking about what's in the fridge. Well, I'm looking at the contents of the fridge, and the contents of the fridge are mostly sodas. So I'm trying to understand how it is that you figure that you're owed $400. All right,
Yeah.
do we have the proof of the $425?
400.
Quick pay with Zelle. All right, so now that $450 that you gave them, that gave him or her,
Gave her.
and that she says she never got, do you have a receipt for that?
No, because it was just on the dress. I take it because, as she said, we were living like we were.
Okay, so that's October.
Yes.
Do you have a single text or email or any proof that you said to her at any point after October, hey, I still need the rest of that October rent?
No, Your Honor, because I know she was going through difficulty at that time.
But she paid November in full, and she paid December in full. How much difficulty could it have been, right? So I'm not sure that that's something I can swallow.
Because the month that month.
Let's talk about the cable boxes. You did accidentally take the cable boxes.
Yes,
Do you
Your
have them
Honor.
here today?
Yes, Your Honor.
You hand them over. And then you are suing for the monthly fee for the cable box in January, from January to March.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why?
Because I have to pay for the box, and meanwhile, I still have to pay the rental fee per month. And she has the box. I don't have access to it. I'm not the one using it, so she's the one that's access to it.
Okay, why isn't she right about that?
Because she's the one who told me I should leave, and that day when we were leaving, she was like crazy, and she's gonna call the cop if I come back, because I still have stuff there that I leave, and I'm afraid I won't go back there. She will call the cop if I
Your
cross
Honor?
the premises.
Your Honor,
And
when she was leaving, I had
crazy.
She still have copies of my keys to my house. And when she was leaving, she turned around and said, I got dead. I made a report of that. After she left, 2 days after she called my phone, I had to block her. I have that screenshot that she called me. I had to block her. Then she go around and she start doing defamation of character on me. She went to my fiance's baby mama and tell her I'm working witchcraft on her to kill she and the baby. And there was a guy that liked me. I sent her the picture when she was living in my house. She sent the picture to the girl's phone and all the information, send it to then it go back to my fiance that I was cheating on him and doing all sort of stuff. It came back to my fiance and that I'm putting stuff in my fiance's food and he should be careful of me. Jamaicans men don't play. You don't tell Jamaican men that you're putting stuff in your food.
Well, I don't think you tell any men that. I think most men would get angry.
So that whole defamation of character is a whole disaster in my house that she's creating and she's still doing it. She's
Did you
going
do
to
that
that
stuff?
baby mama and doing a lot of
Did you do that
stuff.
stuff? Did you call the baby mama? Did you tell his family that she does witchcraft?
Yeah.
Did you?
Honor,
See, this is my
Does she?
fiance.
Does she do witchcraft?
know her baby.
Does she do witchcraft?
When the baby mama contact
Does
my
she do
fiance,
witchcraft?
I don't know.
You don't know? Did you tell somebody she did?
No, Your Honor.
What was it you're trying to show me?
when she texts the baby mama or send the pictures, see my fiance text me and said, this girl's really ate hep out of you. See, that's what he said. This is a screenshot. See,
Okay,
Carrie
hand it over. Let go,
Carrie
let go.
seems to be telling, yeah. You're driving me crazy, girl.
What is this that I'm reading?
That's a screenshot from my fiance was texting me, telling me information that his baby mama was saying that she did. Then the baby mama even came to my house.
I'm not understanding when I was in the bathroom with you. Who writes that to who?
He was sending me, when he was in the bathroom standing with me in the morning, and I heard his phone beeping off, going off like crazy, that's the message that was coming into his phone. So that message was sent to me when I was at work and he was on the street. He sent me all those information that she was going to the baby mama. So that baby mama even came to our house with drama, saying, oh, the kid is not coming back around you people because you people work in witchcraft and this and that, and she's gonna kill you because she's putting blood in your food. And this girl made my house a whole living disaster. Why would you tell someone that, oh, their fiance is cheating on them because they wanted the person to murder that other person? That's what you're doing? Because that's what I don't think you could thought of. You're not thinking anything good. You're just being messy.
Yeah. All right. She has an $800 security deposit with you.
I don't hoard nothing, Your Honor.
Well, I'll be the judge of that. Right? She has an $800 security deposit. You feel that you don't owe her anything because?
I haven't received anything from her. When she moved in, she paid $800.
Right.
Okay, that's it. She didn't give me nothing more. She paid $800 when she moved in. She moved in from the 25th.
Did she pay you a security deposit or she didn't?
No, Your Honor.
You're saying now she didn't pay you a security deposit?
No.
Do you have proof of what you paid?
Not the security on the first month rent, Your Honor.
Why would you not have proof
I
that you
gave her
paid?
in cash.
Why? I know, and cash is when you need if you paid her in a check, we wouldn't have a problem, right? You'd show me the
Exactly.
check. So when you pay in cash is exactly when you need receipts.
Receipts.
So how would you not have that stuff? And you, when you tell me, no, she didn't pay me a security deposit, do you have any further proof that you'd like to provide me with to prove the value of and the fact that things, $400 in food, were ruined?
I don't have the receipts
Okay.
of any food.
And do you have any proof that you would like to provide me with that months ago she didn't pay the complete rent?
No, Your Honor. It's only what's on the bank statement.
Okay. I am ordering you to pay her back the $800 in security deposit. You don't get to keep it because she's a jerk making your life impossible. I find that she, in fact, gave you $800 of a security deposit. I think you know she did. I would suggest to you that it be the last time in your life that you pay cash for anything without getting a receipt. I am going to deduct from the $800 the $30 for her not being able to use that stuff because you didn't return it. You could have dropped it by at any point in time. You could have done a million different things. You could have had someone else take it over. You didn't do any of it. You could have asked the police to escort you while you pick up your stuff and drop that off. You kept that just because you kept it, that's all. So that's $770. As for food that you say was spoiled, you had no proof of it. You certainly don't have proof of that value. As to the rent that you say wasn't paid, I find that you are unable to prove it because you have behaved consistently since then as someone who's not owed that money. So for you to turn around and say that, plus I don't trust you because I really do believe that you and I both know there was a security deposit. So if I have to just all of a sudden pretend that something is a fact that your behavior didn't look like it was a fact about, because there's never one text, even when you're not getting along, not talking to each other and everything, there's not one time where you say, oh, and by the way, you owe me $425. If it was good enough for you, it's good enough for me. And you making it up now is not going to change that. I'm finding a net judgment in this case in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $770. That equipment, of course, goes back to her. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff prevails. Tracy, the defendant's on her way out of the courtroom. Tracy, the judge just didn't believe you. Says she did give you money for a security deposit. You say she didn't, but the judge says, yeah, she did.
She didn't, but I guess it is what it is. It rules in her favor, that's it. I'm glad I'm getting rid of her, that's all.
That's the
That's
important
my
thing
main
to you,
important.
right?
I get rid of her. I just get her out of my life and she's done with. I don't have to deal with her. She don't deal with me. She don't talk to me. That's it.
It's over.
It's over. I'm glad it's over.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, Carrie Ann, this is a bad marriage, so to speak, wasn't it? But,
Yes.
But anyway, it didn't work out.
I am glad it's all over and I get my money back because she's a really bad liar.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good enough. You must sign a few documents,
Thank you.
and that's it. Harvey?
Okay, listen up, everybody, because I'm going to tell you something real important. If you're a tenant, when you give money for a security deposit, get a receipt, some sort of receipt. If they won't give you a receipt, don't give them the cash.